To have you. Welcome everybody to Collaborations Made Easy, how to collaborate
Hello,
with
hello,
doctors
everybody.
and
Welcome
holistic
to
health practitioners. Hang
Collaborations
on.
Made Easy.
We have got some background noise going on inside of YouTube over there. So hopefully it'll still be streaming. If you're here live, let me know. Pop in the chat here. Let me see. All right. We are getting ready to rock and roll, everybody. So if you guys are here, let's go ahead and get some people in our Zoom room now. We've got about 2 more minutes. So if you are wanting to join us, if you're watching this inside of the Facebook group, go ahead and click on the link below so that you can grab your action guide. So sometimes Facebook shows my shared screen and sometimes it doesn't. And so I want to just invite you to go ahead and grab your action guide and also come join me inside of the Zoom room. So everybody should have had an email that registered for this session. Fantastic. Sorry. I'm just looking through my email. Just want to make sure everybody's got the correct link. Fantastic. And I'm going to let more people in. So here's Miss Eileen. Fantastic. So when you grab the action guide, we will also be giving you the link. Let me just see something real quick, see if I can grab that for you guys. No, I don't want to open another link, but let's see if I can copy it for you. I think I can. There we go. Awesome. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and pop that right here inside of our Facebook group. And that way you guys can go ahead and come on over to, let's see, where is it now? Now it's just showing me my dashboard. Bum, bum, bum. Hang on. Let's see. All right, I'm going to go ahead and pop it in the comments. Pop it in the comments. There we go. Okay, so for those of you that want to join us, hey, Jen, the link is in the comments for the Zoom room. I highly recommend that you join us over here. That is the best way that I can actually support you live. Great. Here comes Morgan, Jennifer. Fantastic. So I was logged on just a few minutes early. Nobody's late. I was just early. Hi, Eileen. How are you? So good to see you. And there's Miss Jen. And we've got Morgan and we've got Chris. Awesome. So I am going to share my screen today in just a minute. We're just going to give people a few more minutes just to get logged on, find the link. I don't know about you guys, but I'm like, oh my gosh, where's the link? And I'm always forever scrolling through. Yeah. Oh, good. Jen jumped from the Facebook Live to the Zoom. Fantastic. Good. Yeah. So just a reminder, if you are inside the Facebook group right now, a couple things. Number one, let me know you're here. Comment with the hashtag live. That lets me know that you're here. The other thing is you can go ahead and grab your action guide at the link and also in the comments, go ahead and check the comment section. And that is going to give you the Zoom link so that you can join me live here on Zoom. That way I can answer your questions in real time. So this is a really important topic and it is all about collaborations and building strategic partnerships. So I am super excited about sharing that with you because a lot of times when we first get started in our business, or even if we've been in business for a while, we're like, all right, what are the other levers that are going to help me to enroll more clients into my business, right? Create visibility to maybe increase your own credibility and authority. And this is one of the fastest ways that you can do all of it. It's going to increase your visibility, which is so important. We absolutely have to be doing that in 2025. Your people need to be able to find you, right? And so there's going to be things that we do on our own that are going to help us build and grow our business. But there's also other people that can help us as well. Hey, Emily, I'm so glad you're here. And that is where we take a look at how are we leveraging other people's audiences to build what I like to call strategic partnerships. So we're going to talk about that. And most importantly, especially in the wellness industry. So if you're a holistic coach, if you're a nutritional therapist, if you're a spiritual coach, if you're a life coach, if you're a healer, like all of this applies to you because there are people that are globally and local to you that really do need you as a bridge between their services and their clients. Because one of the things that I know, like the first year that I was actually starting to get my nutritional therapy practice business up and running, I actually only had one client the whole year. And I was like, all right, well, that was a whopping $700. I'm like, what is going on? And it wasn't until I took a look at, hi, Dr. Sarah, I'm so glad you're here, what we could do to actually work with people that were in our market that is actually going to create a bridge between the doctor and the client, to between the chiropractor and the client, the acupuncturist and the client, the digestive health associate and the client. Like, I'm going to be talking about all of those things. I'm going to be giving you specifically the exact game plan that I used to actually build and grow my business to six figures through collaborations. So again, welcome. If you're here joining me for the first time, I'm Chris Williams. I am the owner and founder of Activate Abundance Academy and Shine Wellness. I am a soulful business coach for holistic health coaches, nutritional therapy practitioners, life coaches, healers. I have been in the wellness industry for well over 30 years, and I have built and grown my own business from scratch to over $2 million today. So I'm going to definitely be fully transparent on what I've used in the past that didn't work and what I know absolutely works, and what are the game changers that are going to help you move the needle in your business forward in the quickest way possible to allow you to do what it is that you're here to do, which is to serve. Right? We got into this business as either health coaches, life coaches, nutritionists, doctors, naturopaths, healers, fill in the blank, right? To help others, to help stop their suffering and help them to create a happier, healthier life. And yet, if we are not actually working with paying clients, we're not actually really making a difference, right? And so I really want you to know exactly what you can do in a way that feels really good, natural, and aligned for you and your heart, so that you can show up and serve really, really powerfully, and do that in a way that translates into clients saying yes to working with you, that translates into you feeling really, really good and purposeful. I know that first year that I only had one client, I was so disappointed because I had spent all of this time. It took me a year to get my certification as a functional nutritional therapist. It took me a year, a lot of money to get that certification. I had to travel from Charlotte to Connecticut 3 or 4 different times. So I also had to pay for airfare. I had to pay for hotel. I had to pay for the sessions that I was paying for there in order to take my testing. Like, there's a lot of income that we invest to learn our craft, right? Put a C in the chat, whether you're on Facebook or here in Zoom, if you feel like you've invested income, time, money, energy into learning your craft. And you're still like, okay, like, I've invested, now where are the results, right? So here's the thing. Schools are great for teaching us our craft, right? I went to one of the best functional nutritional schools. Yeah, absolutely. So much learning, so much learning. Oh my gosh. Massage therapy school, when I went through that, I was learning another language, right? You know what, that was 10 grand right there just to get certified, right? So literally, I know that many of you have invested tens of thousands, if not in the six figures of, trying to build and grow your business, right? With the craft. So here's the thing, you guys, the schools that we went to are amazing. They're amazing for helping us learn the craft, right? Of coaching, of serving, of sharing, of healing. Some of you actually have multiple certifications, right? Like, I had a functional nutritional certification. I had a health coach and life coach certification. I had massage therapy certification. I had healing touch. I had Reiki. I had, right? We've got a lot of stuff, right? And we're learning our craft. But that's not the same thing as actually monetizing those certifications, right? Can I get an amen if you're like, yep, it's like you're told if you build it, they will come, and you're like, and I'm still waiting. Amen. Right. Yeah, totally. So same thing happened with me, right? It's the reason why I only had one client in that first year, even though I went to massage therapy school, even though I got my functional nutrition license, even though I did all of those things, right? They're not set up to teach us how to actually do the business component of it. And we see a lot of ways to grow a business out there that don't really work well for healers and heart-centered leaders, because it's a very aggressive, a marketing tactic or it's a very aggressive sales tactic that doesn't really feel in alignment with us. And I know many of the clients that I work with resonate with that because it resonated with me, right? The only strategy that I was taught was go book, give away free 1 hour discovery sessions. Yep. And then sell your thing, right? Well, what I didn't know back then was that that was a really outdated model. It's a very masculine model. It's a very outdated model. Why is it a masculine model? Because it's very aggressive. You're trying to take a stranger into a buyer. And what we know now today, looking back on, the coaching industry, is that, and especially now in the way that the market has changed, people actually want to feel a connection first. And as a matter of fact, the number one thing, you guys, I definitely need to write this down. The number one thing that has people investing to work with you is actually your authenticity. Your authenticity. It's like, it's not the fancy wording. It's, yes, we need to speak the chocolate of our clients so that they know exactly how we can support them. But it's not the how to convince somebody to work with you. It's people want to feel seen. They want to feel heard. They want to feel connected. They want to feel nurtured. And the big piece that was left out when I was trying to build and grow my business was that nurture piece in the middle, but also the relationships, right? Who do I know in my world locally who can help me by leveraging their audience? And so that's what today is all about. If you want to learn more about the nurture method and how to attract, nurture, and invite people to work with you, just comment 6 figures and I will send you the replays for 6 Figure Success Simplified, because that's when I go into the whole process, the Soulful Abundance System, on how I did that. That is what we do on our own. What we are going to be focusing on today, though, is how do we leverage other people's audiences? And the beauty with that is that when we find a collaborator that we connect with, there's a transfer of trust that's happening. Right. And so I'm going to give you a little example. When I started collaborating with chiropractor, I said, hey, I would really love to do a free talk to your patients because I know this is something that they probably struggle with. I think it's going to help you because I know that this is not something that you specialize in, right? They don't take nutrition classes. They don't take habit changing classes. They don't take any of that. They're really good about what they do, whether they're doing energy or racking and stacking them or getting us back in alignment, right? But that only solves part of the equation, part of the problem. In order to have a healthy life, right, we need to have a healthy lifestyle. And that was missing. And so I said, hey, I'd love to do this free talk. And so when this chiropractor, he had 3 different chiropractors in his office, sent out an email to his list, there was a transfer of trust there. It wasn't me trying to drag people to a talk. It was this collaboration partner that sent out an email to his entire list, right? Which are people that I had no idea, hadn't met before. But again, there's a transfer of trust because he was saying, hey, come meet Chris Williams. She's going to teach you, this amazing, life-changing, transformational way that you can be healthier and happier. I think I was doing, the name of the talk at the time was called Get Your Spark Back. And it was such an amazing thing because he also hosted it inside of his office. So we had, the waiting room, right? We know the waiting room, right? So he hosted it there. We had the chairs there. People came in. I did my talk. And then I invited the people that were there to do a couple things. And one of them was to hop on a call with me so that I could support them. And I got to meet them. I got to talk with them there in person. And I also was able to invite them to work with me in what I refer to as my 6-week wellness program. Back in the day, it was called Nourish and Shine, and it was a foundational health and wellness program that I started with clients, and it was 6 weeks. It was in person, and I actually took a minimum of or a maximum of 12 to 15 people into that, and that actually really kickstarted my business. So if this is something that you want to learn, go ahead and just pop an L in the chat, an L for learn, and we're going to get going. I'm going to share my screen with you because I want to share the action guide. Great. And I'm also going to be opening it up for questions. So I know you guys are going to have some questions. Here's the good news. I never had to cold call anybody. I never had to try to sneak by the front desk, gatekeeper. right? I never had to do any of that. And so I'm going to show you a really simple, easy way that you can do the same thing too. Awesome. Let me go ahead and share my screen. Where is it? There we go. Awesome. All right. So collaboration's made easy. How to collaborate with doctors and holistic professionals to grow a six-figure wellness business. So I told you about me already. Let's let Christina in here. And one of the things that collaborating with people did is it allowed me to be a go-to expert locally, but also that began to translate into globally. So when I started my health coaching business, I started it in person. Some of you might have brick and mortars, but I quickly transitioned to online. So this is going to work for both. So if you're like, I don't know anybody, or I really don't want to do in person, or I only want to do online, or I want to do both, this is going to work for all of it. Okay. And I've done all of it as well. So it's really, confusing sometimes when we're like, I have no idea like what even to say, right? Have no idea what to say to this person, have no idea how to reach out to them, have no idea, how to actually start this conversation. I get it. And so I'm going to share this with you because it can be, overwhelming. It can be confusing, especially when we are bombarded by so much information, right? It can also feel really scary to put yourself out there, right? The imposter syndrome might come in, especially if we don't yet have like a full, waiting list of clients. And we're like, well, who am I to reach out to this person that's already got a successful chiropractic business, right? Or yoga studio or whatever. So I know I've been there and we're going to create a win-win. So there were two things when I took a look at the what I felt was missing, right, inside of both the people that needed health coaching support and when I was looking to collaborate with doctors. One of the things that I did, and I did some research, and the first thing that I realized that I got some research back, and this is from an integrative doctor, an acupuncturist, and a chiropractor, and they all told me the same thing. They said, we really want to help our patients, but we don't have the time to consult with them, right? They have like 20 minutes, 10 minutes a session, right? They didn't have time and they lacked the resources. So those are two big things that they were missing. They didn't have the time to actually hold their clients by the hand and walk their clients, through the ways and the methods that they could help them to create habit change. All they did was give them a handout. And I remember, he said, all I have is the Mediterranean diet. This is what I give them. Well, one of the things that we know as transformational coaches and healers is that information doesn't equal transformation, right? Just giving somebody a handout is not magically going to transform. If that was true, then we could just buy a book or Google anything that we wanted, right? And then the second thing that I learned was that patients really want more than just a handout. And I remember talking to my friend, and she said, you know what? I wish I would have found you earlier. All I was given was this handout on the Mediterranean diet. She was actually seeing the same doctor that I became a collaboration partner for. And she said, I don't know what to do with this. I don't know where to start. I don't know what foods. I don't have a method. I don't have a system. I don't have the steps. Like, I don't know what to do with this information, right? So your patients, your clients that are waiting for you and that are also being served by chiropractors, yoga teachers, meditation teachers, massage therapists, digestive health associates, holistic professionals, and doctors, right? They're serving people that need what you have, and you're also going to help them actually create amazing wins with their clients, because when they refer their client to you and they get results, it makes them look better, right? So we're going to talk about how we're meeting both of these needs and how you get to establish yourself as the go-to person because you're actually meeting the needs of both their patients and also the doctor. Okay. So how does this sound? Does this sound good? Are you seeing the same thing in your world? I'm just curious. Have you heard, when you're talking to some clients or they're like, yeah, I've just, gone to the doctor and they're either just giving me this prescription or, telling me to do this stuff, but I really don't know what to do or how to start. Right. If that's you, go ahead and just pop in a yes. Or if you know people who are telling you the same thing, because I know that that was such a huge issue back then, and it's still a huge issue today. All right, so step one, whenever we want to take a look at who should we connect with, who should we collaborate with, we want to first think about our ideal client. First, think about our ideal client. Who do we know locally who serves our ideal client? Okay. And one of the things that I knew as a massage therapist who was weaving in massage therapy, coaching, and nutritional therapy is that I knew that my clients were also into making sure that they were seeing integrative health doctors, they were seeing chiropractors, they were seeing acupuncturists, in addition to the massage therapy that they were getting from me, in addition to the health coaches coaching that they were getting from me. And so we want to ask ourselves, where else are our ideal clients hanging out? Are they going to yoga classes? Are they going to retreats? Are they going to, for me, as especially in the health coaching realm and functional nutrition, they were also seeing functional nutritionists as well as naturopaths or even digestive health specialists. Which honestly, I was really surprised that one of the collaborations actually came through also a neuroscientist, not scientist, a neurosurgeon, right? Because people needed to lose weight because they were having back issues, right? So I want to share just a really, really quick story. One of my clients came to me and she said, I was referred to you from my chiropractor. I've got terrible back pain. I need to have back surgery, but I can't because my neurosurgeon says I have to lose 15 pounds before I can lose the weight. And I asked him, how do I do that? And what he told her was, I don't know, just go find a program. And she's like, what? Like, how do I find a program? And he said, I don't know. So she happened to be at her chiropractor's office, who happened to be one of my collaboration partners. And Dr. Jason said, oh, you need to talk to Chris. So she called me. She lost the weight. I took her through a 6-week wellness program, one-on-one. She lost the weight, went back to her neurosurgeon, and they said, who did you go to? We want her name. We want her information. And they actually began calling me to find out when I was actually running the 6-week wellness program. They would ask me for the flyers. Then they would actually contact me, you guys. So this wasn't about me chasing after, like, please collaborate with me, please send me people. They were saying, oh my gosh, like this person lost the weight. We want to know who you are. We want to refer people to you. The same thing happened with the digestive health associates. There was a associates of 8 doctors. And one of the clients that went through my wellness program, she's actually a holistic nurse. She said, oh, you need to go talk to Dr. Rose. He's amazing. And, I'm going to talk to him about you. Well, he invited me to come in and talk to his practice. 8 doctors and their nurses. Talk about imposter syndrome. Can I tell you, I was like terrified. I'm like, oh my God, who am I? Who am I to actually have this conversation about health and wellness with the doctors who have the degree and the nurses that have the degree and everything, right? And so I went anyways, and they were like, this is great. This would be wonderful. This would be great for our patients that are having bariatric surgery. This would be great for these patients that, are really struggling to set up habit change, right? And they would actually keep my postcards in their office in the examining room. So they could actually give the postcard, and the postcard was about something specific, which we're going to talk about today. It wasn't just call Chris because she's an amazing health coach. It was call Chris because she has a 6-week wellness program that is going to walk you through how to create these habit changes so that you can lose the weight, balance your blood sugar, lower your stress, all of those things that we knew are part of foundational health and wellness. So step one is understand your ideal client and then start locally and personally. Cold calling, just going and knocking on a doctor's door that you don't know, is not going to get you past the front desk. So instead, start with who you know. Who do you know? Do you have a friend who visits a doctor that she or he really likes? Do you visit a doctor that you really like? I started with my acupuncturist. I started with my chiropractor, right? I started there. Think about who is it that you go to. And then you can think about, well, where do your friends go? and where do your clients go? And if you don't have any clients yet, don't worry about it. You can still think about, what do you do? Where else do you go? Because all of you here are also interested in health and wellness, right? Where would you go? Where would you go? You wouldn't be here if you weren't interested in health or wellness. And then what we want to do is just make a list. Make a list of the people that we know personally or professionally, right? Who do I know who owns a yoga studio? Who do I know who's a yoga teacher? Who do I know who's a meditation teacher? Who do I know who's an acupuncturist? Who do I know who's a OBGYN? Who do I know who is, again, fill in the blank. That is when we want to start making a list of that. Okay. And then if we don't know them, then we want to ask for an introduction, right? Or just like a welcome, something from your personal doctor or from clients that have had success with you. And to be honest, they are happy to share a good success story. Happy, happy, happy to share a good success story. Okay. So step one is we're going to make a list. Who do we know locally? Who do we know personally? Okay. Step two is we want to create a relationship first. So what we don't want to do is call them up and say, hey, will you send me clients? Hey, I'm a health coach. Will you send me clients? Hey, I'm a life coach. Can you send me clients? That's not going to work. What we want to do first is create a relationship. This is really, really important. And when we're meeting chiropractors, acupuncturists, other wellness practitioners, creating this relationship is the best way to developing a relationship. So we get to ask them first, how can I support you? Hi, my client, Jane, visits you. I'm a health coach. I am, here, my practice is over here. I support women who, and I have clients that I would love to also recommend to you. And that is the way that we start. We always want to start with how can we help them create a win? Because the truth is, we all want more business. They want more business too. And I started locally and I started going to networking meetings where I connected with, again, small business, groups with other people that were also trying to connect and collaborate and build their business as well. And truly, I must have met in one meeting probably 5 to 10 different chiropractors, and they all did something different. One was focused specifically on children, another focused specifically on family, another didn't do the physical adjustments, but they did more energy work, right? And so what I did is I went to these meetings and I said, tell me about your practice. Who would be a really good referral for you? Who would be a good referral for you? Right? So just notice when we are starting a conversation that way, they're going to be more open and receptive. And then they're then going to reciprocate and say, tell me about you. What's your business, Chris? And I said, oh, I'm a health coach. I help people create habit change so that they can set up lasting transformations and habits so that they can lose weight, so that they can lower their stress, which helps them actually live happier, healthier lives. Okay, so ask them about their clients, ask them about their patients, ask them about their vision, ask them who would they like you to refer to them. That's a great conversation opener. It's creating a win-win for them, and it also is going to create a win-win for you because in return, they're going to want to know a little bit more about you too. Okay, and don't forget to get their information so that you can follow up with them, right? So either get their card or you can get their email, so that you can stay in touch. The other thing that I did with them is I asked if they would be open. Are you open to setting up a one-on-one meeting over coffee? Would you be open to setting up just a quick meeting over coffee so that I can learn more about you and your practice? And I would love to share what I do in my business to see if there's anybody that this might serve, right? So when I did that, oh my gosh, you guys, it opened up so many wonderful collaborations because we're talking about how are we going to help each other, right? So I sat down and I had coffee with them and I said, great, this is what I'm doing and this is what you're doing. I wonder if there's a way that we could connect or collaborate together. right? And it doesn't have to be the same reciprocation, right? It doesn't have to be, oh, I'll send you a client and then you send me a client, right? For example, I would keep my chiropractor's cards inside of the office. And I would also send out in my newsletter information about, hey, if you're looking for a chiropractor, here's somebody that's, in this area. So I was giving them visibility with my list and also inside of my office at the time, right? And how are they giving me visibility? Well, they let me come in and they let me do a talk. So they would send an email out to their people so I could come in and do a talk. And then they also invited me to any like in-person events that they were doing. So they had some other, really fun events going on. I did the exact same thing with also a friend of mine who owned a massage therapy studio as well. And I have to say that one of the really cool things is that in every single talk that I've done, I've always walked away with a client. Always walked away with a client. Every single talk. Now, that's pretty amazing, right? Because typically we're just, doing a talk and then we're like, okay, bye. We'll let reach out to me. Let me know if you need something. And so I'm going to share with you the best way that you can actually invite people to work with you in a way that doesn't feel icky either. So step 2 is create the relationship first, right? Where are our ideal clients going? Connect with them, reach out to them, create a relationship first, and help them to create a win first. Okay. And then we want to create value for them, right? So again, if you are serious about growing your business and being an expert, you have to create value for your referral partners. They need to know specifically how they can benefit from a collaboration with you. Okay. If you, for example, some of you might have a podcast, you could feature them on your podcast. Some of you might have a Facebook group. You could feature them inside of your Facebook group. Some of you might have a newsletter. You can feature them in your newsletter, right? Some of you might also have Facebook groups and you bring them on to talk about a topic that would be beneficial for them. So there's a lot of ways that we can create value for them. And we really want to make sure that we're leading with this. We're leading with value first. Okay. How do we know what they need that they feel is valuable? We're going to learn that from step 2. When we have that coffee conversation, we're going to ask, what would be valuable to you? How could I help you create a win? I have a Facebook group. Would you like to come in and talk about, the benefits of lymphatic massage? Would you like to come in and talk about the benefits of healing touch? Would you like to do, a presentation on my podcast? Would you like to write something that I can feature in my blog, right? We could to think about all the different ways that we can provide value. Another way that we can provide value for them is to leave them a 5-star review. Could I leave you a review, right, for your business on Google Business, right? There's a lot of different ways that we can do that. Okay, so when we meet with them in step 2 over coffee, we're going to ask, how can I serve you the best? What would be a win for you? How could I create value for you? Okay. And then step 4, this is the game changer, was we don't want to just say, hey, just send your people to me. We want to offer a specific resource. This is really important, you guys. If you walk away from nothing and with nothing other than this, please remember that a specific resource is going to take you so much further than just giving collaboration partners your business card to share with their clients. Why? Because they don't have time to talk you up to their patients, right? But what they will remember, if you're running a 6-week program or a 12-week program or something specific and you have a little postcard that tells about it, that they can just hand out to them, now you're making it easy for them, right? So we want to make it really, really easy for our collaboration partners to share the information. So a couple things that I did was I had a flyer that they would put inside of their office. So they would post it inside of their lobby. I also created postcards, and those postcards they gave to all of the doctors, especially in the Digestive Health Associates practice, and they would share that with their people. So they didn't have to sell me to their patients, right? They just got to say, oh, here's a 6-week health and wellness program that you might want to take a look at. So we want to make it really, really easy for our collaboration partners to share the information. If we're not using a postcard or if we don't have a specific resource, then it's going to make it really, really hard for them to remember you. Like, oh, just, go to my friend Jen because she's amazing. Well, we all are thinking, what's in it for me? So the patient or the client is going to want to know what's in it for them. How is this going to help them with their transformation? The doctor isn't going to remember that. The chiropractor isn't going to remember that. So we need to offer a specific resource. Okay. It fills the gap that they don't have time to do in their business. So here's an interesting thing you guys may or may not know. Most doctors struggle with patient compliance. Why? Because they don't have time to educate in the wellness or lifestyle field, and they simply don't have a resource for their patient to take the next step. So you are filling in the gap here. When you have that resource, it's actually going to help their patients become more compliant with the recommendations that the doctors or the chiropractors or the massage therapist want them to do, right? How many of you, have gone to a doctor and they've said, well, just do this thing. And you're like, yeah, okay. And then you never do it. Right. Well, why? Because there's no accountability. There's no system. There's no process, right? You're like, okay, yeah, great. I'll just get right on that. I have no idea where to start, but yeah, I'll just do that. Yeah, that's the same thing with your people. That's the same thing with the people that need you. It's the same thing with the people that they see. And they know that. They know that. As a matter of fact, when I was running my 6-week wellness program, I actually had chiropractors, acupuncturists, holistic nurses go through my 6-week wellness program. And then they got amazing results. And then they would also refer people to me. So when I offered that 6-week wellness program, they had specific value. They had a resource that filled that gap between how they wanted to support their clients and giving the client a resource, right, that they could recommend. And their practice offered value to their patients. It took the burden off the coaches to try to meet that need that they didn't have time for, right? They don't have time for that. So you're meeting that need. So when we go to talk to them about value, what's the value that you're providing to them? Well, in addition to, sharing with, your people all about them and their business, you are actually helping their patients become happier and healthier. You're taking the burden off of them with needing to provide that extra layer of care that they don't have time for, right? And most of them really, really appreciate that. Why? Because they got in the work to help people lead happier, healthier lives too. They really did, right? Integrative doctors, chiropractors, acupuncturists, naturopaths, like we all got in this work to help them. It's just that we have got specialties in certain areas and we've got time capacity in certain areas. And when you collaborate with each other, you're creating win-win-wins, not just 2 wins, not just a win for you and a win for the doctor, but the third win is the win for the patient, right? So everybody wins here. So this created value for them. And it also was how my wellness business grew. No more hustling and burning out just to pay the bills. As a matter of fact, I really did become the go-to leader in my community. I was asked to speak at a regional hospital. I was sought out by other doctors to come in and talk to their staff about the program. Again, they would call me and say, hey, do you have any more flyers? When's your next 6-week program going on? And this had nothing to do with being tech savvy, right? Running fancy funnels, any of that. Okay, so I want to just stop here, pause for a minute, and take any questions about the collaboration piece and open this up. What questions do you guys have so far if you are either thinking about collaborating or maybe you've tried to collaborate and you're not really sure what to say or maybe something didn't work well? Like, go ahead and come off mute and ask your questions because I really want to help you get this piece. Any questions around this?
I don't know that my question is specifically like the reaching out piece, but more just like and this might be too specific to my business, but like the talk that I give is the courage to rest. And
Yes.
it ties into a lot of what I do. But my 6-week program, is called Unleash Your Inner Witch. So it doesn't like the parallel is not direct. Like it doesn't feel like there's an easy
Yeah,
invite
yeah,
for
for sure.
people from there.
Yeah. So, yes. So we do want our talk, whatever talk we're giving, to be congruent and relevant to whatever we're inviting people into, for sure.
Mhm.
So, you might want to, invite them into, a program that's around more rest, right? So you can either
Right.
change the title of it, when you're working with, it doesn't mean that you have to actually change the program, right? But you do want to kind
Mhm.
of change the title so that it's relevant and congruent to that ideal client, right?
Right.
So my talk title was Get Your Spark Back, right? And so the offer that I invited them into was into a 6-week wellness program called Nourish and Shine, which taught them the foundations, right? It's only a 6-week program, right? It
Mhm.
taught them the foundations. And the interesting thing is, for those of you that are or thinking about going into groups, 30% of the people that work with you in a group are going to want to continue to work with you. So how did I create a figure business with just a 6-week wellness program? Well, it wasn't just a 6-week, it was the 6-week wellness program, which was my middle tier offer. And then I invited them to work with me in a one-on-one capacity to then take them to that next level, right? They had their foundations dialed in. They needed continued support, right? We're not done just because we've gone through 6 weeks, right? And so 30% of the people that I worked with in my group program continued to work with me one-on-one. So I had my high-end offer, which was my one-on-one offer. I had my 6-week offer, which was a group program. I think back in the day, I think I first started charging around $200 for the 6-week program. It then went up to $497 for a 6-week group program, and then from there, if I took 10 people into that program, at least 3 of them, 30%, if we, go by the average, 30% conversion rate, 30% of the people are going to want to continue to work with you. That was 3 people from each 6-week session that would continue to work with me in my high-end offer that was priced anywhere from $3,000 to $4,500. Okay.
Mhm.
So now we're talking about, using our 6-week program as a feeder program into our high-end offer.
That
Does that
makes
make
sense. Yeah.
sense? Yeah.
Yeah, it
So we
does.
can totally, like, the courage to rest is so, so important. And you've got, all of that inside of your information and in your email, which is so, so important. So maybe creating a foundational program around becoming, well rested, fully sourced so that you can have this different experience of life, right? And then from there, they can move into the Wild Woman program or one of the other
Mhm.
ones. Mhm.
Awesome. Thank you.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah. Who else has any questions around collaborations? No follow-up because they're too busy. Who said that? Is it not Christina? It's Chris. Okay. So here's the thing. If you are inviting them to coffee and you're buying them coffee, they're going to have a conversation with you there and you're going to be able to put something in play there. If they're not following up with you because they're too busy, it means they don't see the value, right? And so are some people going to, not get back to you? Yes, of course. There's always, like, we're not going to expect 100% of our collaboration partners to be a good fit for us. They just might not be a good fit, and that's okay. But the truth is, you really only need about 5 collaboration partners. You don't need 50. Like, all I had was 5. I had an acupuncturist, I had a chiropractor, I had the digestive health associates, I had the neurosurgeon, and I had the integrative doctor. And I got consistent people reaching out to me. And some of them went into my 6-week wellness program, and some of them went into my one-on-one program.
Chris,
Yeah.
I actually said that they don't have the time to follow up. I mean, the doctors don't have time to follow up with their patients because they're just so stressed. They're so
Oh,
they're
gotcha,
so
gotcha,
dragged
gotcha.
out.
Mm-hmm.
And we are actually giving them something that they don't have to do,
Yes,
and they don't have to feel fully accountable for something that's not being met because they can't, they just don't have the time. I mean, just
yes,
even
yes.
myself trying to get an appointment to go over my HRT, and
Mm-hmm.
6 weeks,
Mm-hmm.
it's like ridiculous. And so, I had a really good conversation with my doctor,
Mm-hmm.
and he just said we are like running around here with like chickens with no heads.
Yeah,
It's just
yeah,
crazy.
yeah.
So exactly what you have told us tonight.
Yes.
It makes such sense. Everything's slotting into place beautifully. And
Yay.
yeah, thank you so much. I'm
Yes.
so glad that you've
Yes.
offered this because it just does make sense. It's
Yeah.
like go and collaborate with the people that you know and start there because
Mhm.
it will multiply. It just
Absolutely.
has to because that's just the way it works. If you're
Hmm.
good, if you offer something that's really, really helpful and you're going to be able to help someone in a simple way, they
Hmm.
will actually say, yeah, look at me, what do
Hmm.
women do, right?
Hmm.
We go and tell
Yes.
everybody.
Yes. Oh my
We
gosh. And
can't
then I
help
had
it.
doctors sharing my information with other doctors, right? Or I had, people, by the way, with my 6-week wellness program, I actually invited them to go through the program for free so that they could get an experience, right?
Yes.
Some of them took me up on it and said amazing. Some of them said, no, I don't have time. That's fine. Some of them started and then, you know, stopped and they're like, yep, I'm all in. Like I get what you're teaching here and this is amazing. I will definitely refer clients. But I had a family doctor who had been in, running his practice for over 40 years, who was getting ready to retire. Um, and he said, I never learned this when I went to school. Thank you so much
They
for
get
teaching
nothing.
this.
They get nothing.
Hmm.
That some of them are really lucky if they get a couple hours,
Hmm.
but other than that, they get nothing. And
Yeah.
then these are the guys that the patients are turning to about
Hmm.
supplements and minerals and whatever. They
Yep.
don't have a clue. And so
Yes.
they're just giving them a one a day. Go take a one a
Yeah.
day,
Yeah.
off the
Exactly.
shelf.
Exactly, right? Or here's the handout for the Mediterranean diet, right?
Exactly.
Again,
Same
I can't
thing.
tell you how
Yeah.
many times. And look, there's nothing wrong with the Mediterranean diet. It's just that there's no accountability for the
Yeah,
person to
exactly.
understand how to start, what happens when they bump up against something that they have questions for. They can't call the doctor for questions, right?
No.
Like, because you can't even get in. So you are providing, I just want you guys to see how valuable you are as a resource to doctors, to holistic professionals, and to the patients that they serve
When
in.
I went to my doctor, it was just recently.
Mhm.
And he said to me, so tell me about this menopause coaching that you're studying. So I kind of gave him a sort of little synopsis of what it is that I'm doing. And I'm also doing a second course, which
Mhm.
is more hormone related and gets
Mhm.
more in depth with, with hormones and what we do, physiology, biology, that kind of thing.
Yeah, yeah,
So
yeah.
he said,
Beautiful.
oh, really? And I said,
Mhm.
yes. He says, wow, this is really interesting. And you could kind of see the cogs starting to work.
Mhm. Mhm.
He was sort of like trying to put a mental picture into what possibilities would happen because there's only one other doctor in the practice who is the go-to person,
Mhm.
and she has less time than any of them because she's a partner. She's not
Yep,
even a salary doctor, she's a partner. So you can
yep,
imagine she's got no time.
yep.
So
Exactly.
you feel really sorry for those because everything is so stretched.
It's so true. It's so true. So, this is meeting a need, right? This is the bridge. This is meeting a
Yes,
need for them. It's meeting a
yes.
need for the patient. And it actually works really, really well with you. Yeah, there's no medical school has no nutritional classes in it. Yeah, that's what
No,
Chris Arnold just said. It's so true, right?
yeah.
It's why, I said, go through this with me, right? So my acupuncturist went through it and then she referred clients to me. She asked her brother to go through it, who is a dentist right next door. He went through it and then he referred clients to me too. So there's such a huge possibility here for you to leverage other people's audiences in a
Mm.
way that is actually creating wins for all of you. And it really, really, really works.
But I
Really.
think your idea is you're saying that we are the conduit. We are that bridge
Yes.
between the medical professional
Mhm.
and that practitioner
Yep.
and just their whole wellness. You're
Hmm.
taking away that responsibility for them to have to go figure out what else to tell their patients.
Yep.
So yeah,
Exactly.
it's this is so interesting. This is a great get together. Thank you so
Oh, I'm
much.
so glad. That makes my heart so happy. Yes.
Oh,
And it
thank
takes so
you.
much. The people that I've talked to have told me it has taken so much pressure off their shoulders, right? Because
Yes.
why they have a trusted resource to send their
Mm,
people to, right? And guess what? When Dr. So and so recommends you, the patient or the client, there's a transfer of trust there, right? Because they trust
Yes.
their doctor, and that doctor is saying, hey, go talk to Chris Williams. She can help you here. So of
Yeah.
course they're going to call me and they're going to automatically show up in trust because they've been referred, right? So we want to
If
remember
I
that.
can't help someone,
Mhm,
I'll find someone who can.
exactly.
You're not going to get that in the doctor's office.
Mm, mm-mm,
The
exactly.
small businesses will actually do that for each other,
Mm-hmm,
but
exactly.
they just don't have the resources. They don't have the time and the resources.
Yep, they
So
don't.
yeah,
They don't.
no,
Yeah, so we want to make it really easy for them. It's why I use postcards. It's why I use flyers. It's why I created the marketing materials that they could use for my program. We'll talk about the 6-week wellness program. If you guys don't have one, you are welcome to use mine. I'll talk about that in just a minute. But you can certainly create your own, right? It's just that most of us don't have the time or the bandwidth to create our own, right? Because we have to
correct.
not only take all of the information and put it together, but we also have to make it look pretty, right? We have
Yes.
to know what to say. We have to make sure we're talking chocolate and not broccoli so that there's really value there. So, the Launch Well program that you guys will see in the flyer here is my 6-week wellness program. And what I did is I decided that I wanted more people to have access to it. So I white labeled it. What does that mean? It means you don't need to buy copyrights for me. It means you can buy the program and you can take my name off and you can put your name on, and it's done for you. And the beauty of that is that you can also make it your own because you're getting Canva files, which you can edit. And so if you're like, oh my gosh, this is amazing, and I want to add this, or I want to take this out, or I want to add this piece here, or I want to switch it up. Some of my clients who are using it will actually take it and turn it from 6 weeks into 12 weeks because we have both foundational health information as well as lifestyle. So you can actually use it in 12 weeks as well. So that was, something that I wanted to offer to help more people so that you don't have to spend all that extra time and energy waiting and trying to get all of the things together in a way that makes sense so that you can actually use it in a group if you want to use it in a group, but you can also use it one-on-one as well.
Thank you.
Yeah, absolutely. My pleasure. And that Launch Well program, by the way, is not just the materials. It is also how to actually teach the materials. It comes with a full 6-session video of like how you would actually run the group. How would you actually run the class? It's got all of the materials that are editable. It's got my marketing materials, the flyer that I used, the postcard that I used. It's got all of the emails that you need if you want to do an online launch to fill your program. We've really taken everything and put that in there. And because it's December, and December is my birthday, on Wednesday, happy birthday to me, we're actually offering it at a huge discount. We normally offer it for $2,997, and we're now offering it for only $997. So you guys, if you're interested, you can grab it. We're going to be opening that offer up. You guys are getting like the first news. We're actually going to be opening it up on December 18th. Thank you, which is my birthday. And we're going to keep it open until the end of the weekend, but it's giving you everything that you need. And so we'll definitely share the link here with you guys so that you can check it out, see what's in it. And you have 6 months access to live monthly coaching as well as live tech coaching. So for those of you that are like, this sounds great, and yet I don't know how to edit the materials in Canva, we got you. I've even used some of the materials to create freebies, high converting freebies. So you can print it out. You can print out one sheet. You can print out a whole bunch of sheets. You can print it out week by week. There's actually a it's called Nourishing Traditions, which is a recipe book that you can use, and you can offer that as a bonus to your people when they join you inside of your program. So it's really quite fun. It's really amazing. I love it. Yeah. Any other questions about what to say, what to do? What have you bumped up against? How many of you are collaborating already? Kind of, sort of. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Do you know people that you could reach out to either locally or online? Here's the way that I also want you to think about this. If we are looking at it locally, we've got people that we know that are doctors locally. Oh, great. Dr. Sarah, you're with your chiro. Fantastic. Yeah. So have a chiropractor and you've got an acupuncturist that can help you. Great. So you can also do this online, right? So who else do you know? Where else would your ideal client go to online, right? Personal trainer. Excellent, Morgan. Right. You can take a look at, are there any, if you're a health coach, do you know any life coaches? If you're a health coach, do you know a fitness trainer? If you're a nutritional therapist or energy worker, like who else serves your clients in a different way than you do? You can absolutely create collaborations that way. Emily says, I've collaborated, but not sure if some are still mentioning you, giving your info out. Yeah. Yeah. So, a good thing to do would be to just check in with them, right? Like we want to, when we create a collaboration partnership, it's not a one and done, right? We want to follow back up with them and just check in and say, hey, how are you? How's it going? Right? We just get to be friends. Is there anything that you have going on that I can share for you? That's what I love to do that. I'll reach out to a collaboration partner and I'll say, hey, what do you have going on? Is there anything that I can share in my newsletter? Right? So we always lead with value first. Yeah. Yeah. How many of you are open to collaborating and see the value of how this could benefit you in your business? Yeah, definitely. So what's the stopping point? I want to know, like, what are you guys bumping up against that has you not taking action on the collaborations? What feels shaky or wonky about it that's stopping you? Bureaucracy. I want to hear more about that, Chris. Yeah. Still studying, so have not crossed the bridge yet. Yeah, no problem. Yeah, the extra work prepping materials. So that's stopping you from reaching out, Christina?
No, I mean, I've already reached out, but it's stopping me from like going further with it because I don't want to get involved in something if I don't have the time and space for it right now, if I can't take it all the way.
Yeah, if you can't run a program for sure, yeah, then you wouldn't want to do it. But if you've got, if you are ready to run your program, you don't need to have everything, by the way, all set up and perfect from A to Z. You really only need to have, for example, the first 2 weeks done, right? Then you can teach 1 week and you can work on week 3 and you can teach week 2 and you can work on week 4, right? There's ways that you can still edit the materials in a way that you want without, having that perfectionist hat on that tends to stop us because we're like, well, I need to have the whole thing planned out. Actually, you really don't. You really don't. Yeah. Getting people to the coffee meetup can feel like a lot of back and forth with some people. Yeah. So, yeah, Emily, what I do or what we did is we just picked a date right then and there, right? So it's about taking action and getting the date on the calendar right then and there. So, like, hey, and if they're open to having a coffee chat, open up your calendar, open up your phone right then and there and say, great, how's next Tuesday at 3? Do you want to meet? Is this a good time? Yeah, and that way you don't have to go back and forth in Messenger. Now, if it's online, then that can be a little bit tricky. But what I like to do is I like to offer specific dates. How about next week on Tuesday at 4 o'clock or Thursday at 10 o'clock? Right? So we can offer some good dates. And then we ask if that doesn't work for you, what would be a good time? What do you have open? Yeah. So you can definitely do that online. Yeah. And again, just remember, you guys, that nothing is 100% perfect, nor does it have to be. There are going to be some people that you resonate with that is going to feel really, really easy. There are going to be some people that are just not, either there's a personality that you don't resonate with, or, maybe they don't follow through. Okay. But we just go onward, right? We don't let that stop us because there are plenty more people in your world that do want to support you, that do want to collaborate and connect with you, right? And remember, you don't need 50. You only need a small handful. But we do want to stay in touch with our collaboration partners, right? We want to let them know. So I would let them know. I would say, hey, Dr. Rose, my next 6-week wellness program is starting next month. Can I bring by some flyers if they didn't ask, right? Hey, can I change out this flyer? How are you guys doing on postcards? Do you need any more postcards? Right? Yeah. And I was providing it. I was providing it. So they didn't need to spend any of their time. By the way, if you're doing something online, you will also want to create any of the like the emails, or for example, if you want them to promote you, you really want to give them an easy way to do that. So give them a graphic and give them the copy that they can use to remove any friction, right? Because if they have to do it on their own, chances are they're going to forget, or they're not going to have time, or they're not going to actually present it in the right way, because you're the expert. You know your ideal client better than they know your ideal client. So it's always really important to have like some sort of folder where you can say, you know, here's some email copy about my next 6-week wellness program. This is going to be, you know, who it's the best fit for, if you know anybody. Make sense? Yeah, here's a graphic, or here's the flyer, or here's the postcard, you know, that you can use, right? And that way they've got one little neat and tidy, you know, folder that they can access, and you can just change the date inside that folder. So you could do it on Google, use a Google Docs folder, keep it really simple and easy, and then you just share the link to the Google Docs so that they can access it. Yeah. Any other questions about collaborating? How many of you are interested in groups and running groups? Just pop a yes in the chat if you see the benefit of running a group. And how many of you are more interested in just one-on-one? And then how many of you are a combination of both? I was a combination of both. Yeah. Great. Yeah. Fantastic. So this is going to actually work for both. The Launch Well program is a combination, right? So you can use it one-on-one, or you can use it in a group. So the way that I did that, by the way, is if I didn't have a group going on at the time that a client contacted me, I would take them through the program one-on-one. I didn't tell them to wait. Oh, we don't have another one starting until 2 months. No, I would take them through one-on-one, right? So we can just take them through that, and it's a lot easier to do that. Yes, both, and retreats. Chris, that's fantastic. Yeah. So if you are, let me go ahead and share my screen. We're going to go back to our document on filling your programs and offers, right? So there's 4 main ways to fill your wellness programs or your offers, okay? One of them is just personal reach outs, right? It's just reaching out to people that you know. Hey, Eileen, I've got this really cool thing that's starting in January. It's for women who are struggling with and would like to have this over here. Could I share the details with you? Okay. Another way that you can fill your programs is if you have an email list, you could send out an email to your email list to let people know what you've got going on. Now, those 2 things, 1 and 2, personal email as well as personal reach outs, mean that comes from your warm audience. Those are not strangers. Okay. Another way that you can do this is by doing a class, a talk, like an in-person talk that I did. That's one of my favorite ways to do either an online talk or to do an in-person talk, right? So number 3 would be an online talk where you could go to a group, a women's group, again, like the chiropractor that I did the talk with. You can actually go and do a live talk. Actually, one of our clients, Christina knows Jen Smith, she does meetup groups. So she'll do a menopause meetup monthly and do, you know, her meetup group. Right. And then number 4 is doing something online, like you're watching me do right now, where you're teaching something that's high value. You're giving people wins. You're helping to create, you know, the information that they need to create a win to solve their program, to solve the problem. Right. And then you can invite them to either hop on a call with you to explore working with you, or you could even invite them into an offer like I'm doing with you guys here today about the Launch Well program. Right? So you're getting a lot of great information. There's no obligation to buy anything, but of course I'm going to share with you what worked for me so that you could take it instead of recreating the wheel and make it work for yourself, right? And that's why we created the Launch Well on Demand program. Now, this is an on-demand program. What does that mean? It means you get to do it on your own pace. It is all of the information inside of a membership. But what I know about memberships is that rarely, I don't know about you guys, but I have purchased things before that are courses and I've never even gone in them, or I've gone in them once and then I've forgotten about it. This is both live support as well as the information that you need that is inside of all of the information. So we're going to teach you how to edit your materials. We're going to teach you how to create a landing page. We're going to teach you how to teach the materials. We're going to teach you how you can do an online event or an in-person event, you know, for your wellness program. So it's a 12-week program as far as the number of modules that you get, but you can do it on your own time. And then you get to come and have live Q&A every month. And then there's also a live Q&A for tech, right? Because how many of us get stuck in the tech? I don't know about you, but oh my gosh, I remember spending 5 hours trying to figure out Zapier. And I'm like, and to this day, I still don't know it. I'm like, I don't know how things are talking to each other. So we have our tech coach that is going to support you in that program as well. So the Launch Well on Demand, again, is a go at your own pace program. We normally charge $2,997 for it, but when you get it by the end of the weekend, so this is a December special, it's only $997, and it gives you all of that extra access to have your questions answered, to have the tech support, as well as to have the live support that you need to collaborate, right? We're going to talk about those connections and those collaborations too. So what questions do you guys have for me today? Any questions that I can support you around? No questions? If you don't have any questions, I would love for you guys to just take a few moments and to think about who are 3 people that you could reach out to within the next week. Within the next week, who are 3 people that you could reach out to within the next week? Just 3, right? Who do you know locally? Who do you know that supports your client? Yeah. Emily, you've got a great question. Which networking groups did I enjoy or find helpful? Yeah. You're most welcome, Chris. So I found the ones that were and I've been to a couple. Some of them were great and some of them were meh. You know, I did not love the ones that required you, like, I think it's BNI. I'm not 100% sure, but I did not like the ones that required you to, you know, refer a certain number of people. I really just liked a more laid back, relaxed networking group. And so I went to a local networking group that was called the Small Business Networking Group of Lake Norman. And, you know, we met, you know, once a month, or no, I think it was once a week at a coffee shop. And I just went and I connected there. And that is how, and what I would do is, you know, they would give you, you know, 30-second elevator pitch who you are. And I would listen for the other people that were holistic practitioners. And then when it was over, you know, and you had time to like connect with each other, because that's what it's about, right? It's not like people are like, why are you talking to me? Like, we're there to connect and collaborate with each other. I would, you know, go up and talk to the people that I knew who said that they were holistic practitioners, what it was that they were doing, right? If they served my client in a different way, then those are the people that I would reach out to first. Yeah. Christine Arnold, do you have any questions? I saw you come off mute.
Oh, I've been off mute for a little bit.
Oh, okay. Do you have a
But that's
question?
But no, I was actually tapping into the chat, which was just about, you know, I have my 3 folks
Yep.
to reach out to. And,
Great.
you know, I think for me, one of the value things you said is around, sometimes it's not going to work, you know, and, you know, you just have to go, okay.
Yep.
You
Next.
know, yeah, you know, and it's the bureaucracy that, sometimes people who are in practices, if they're not solo practitioners, they
Mhm.
can't do things like recommend things without formal process improvements.
Mm. Yeah, yeah,
So,
yeah, again, I think there's always going to be, some exceptions around that,
Yeah.
but for sure, there's going to be some people that are like, yeah, I would love to. There's going to be other people that say, no, that's not, good for me. I actually still have a nurse who works for, one of the big health companies, right? So, we have Atrium Health here. I don't think that she works for that. Maybe it's Novant or something. And she still actually refers clients to me. And I'm like, I am not doing that anymore. I'll refer you to one of my clients. So she'll reach out and she's like, hey, can you have a conversation with so and so? And I'm like, let me actually refer her. Yeah.
that's funny. Great.
Yeah. 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 How would this make a difference if you had some collaboration people and you had a resource that was really, really valuable, that was going to save you time, save you energy, so you don't have to recreate the wheel? Instead, you've got something that you can use right away that you can also share with your clients. I also, by the way, Chris, and I know you have access to it, that you're editing it right now, but I printed out all 6 weeks of the program and I put it in a binder. And when I had a meeting with my chiropractors, acupuncturists, I would show them. I'm like, this is the program. This is what we're going to be taking people through so they could actually see it. I didn't leave my binder with them. They didn't get to keep it, but I did share with them, about what was in the program, what we're teaching week 1, week 2, all the way up, to week 6, so that they had a really good understanding of the transformation and how supportive and valuable it was. Yeah. Cool. So if nobody has any more questions, what is one action that you feel confident that you could take in the next couple days, like before Friday? Today's Monday. What's one action that you would be willing to take before the end of the day on Friday? Great. Chris has got her 3 folks. She's going to reach out to them. Amazing. Christina's got 5 people. Fantastic. You'll schedule with at least one. Awesome. Great. Anybody else have any questions? Who else has got their 3, or they're going to pop just one action in the chat? Ooh, I love that. Yes, Eileen. Fantastic. At least one meetup coffee scheduled for Emily. Eileen drafting an email to reach out to midwifery clinics. Absolutely. Yes. Susan, I know you popped in here a little bit late, so we will make sure that you get the first part of it, so you get the first, couple of steps that you missed. But we'll make sure to send this recording out to everybody too. Yeah, amazing. All right, how is that going to make a difference, do you think, if you just have one connection call with somebody? What's predictable to happen from that? What's predictable to happen from that one small action? Susan said she's going to call call a home care organization that you know well. Excellent. Yeah. Momentum. Thank you, Christina. Yes, momentum. When you take one action, you get into momentum. Yes, trust. You start building trust with yourself, right? You start to show yourself that you actually can do hard things. You can do scary things, right? Does it feel scary to reach out to somebody that, has got, a degree or got, a doctor's degree or whatever? Yeah, I was totally scared when I had that conversation with 8 doctors and their nurses. Holy crap. I almost wanted to cancel. Right? But we have to remember that you guys are experts in your field and in your craft. They are experts in their field and in their craft, right? And when we come together, then we actually get to create a team for their patients, which is amazing. Yeah. All right. So if you guys have any questions about the Launchwell program, please reach out to me, send me a message, send me a DM. I'm happy to show you what's inside of it. Happy to open up the portal and take you through each one of the weeks so you can see what's in there. Again, it is white labeled, which means that you can take my name off, my website off. You get to put your name on, you get to make it your own, you get to add to it, take it apart, do whatever it is that you want to do with it. But it really is going to save you time so that you don't have to spend all that extra time and energy creating it. right? So you don't have to hire a copywriter, you don't have to hire a graphic person, you don't have to do all of that extra work that costs well over $997, which is the investment for this. Plus, you're getting how to actually teach a group and how to actually fill your group, as well as the 6 months of live support, monthly for questions and also monthly for tech. So feel free to reach out if you have any questions about that. Great. So Morgan is going to send your postcard to your personal trainer. Great. Yeah. And Morgan, ask him or her, whoever they are, if they would like some postcards, right? That way they can have them there, right? I would actually take a stack of postcards, just oh, her. Great. So instead of business cards, I would take a stack of postcards, right? And have that little business card thing, but it was only like a 4x7 postcard. And so that would stay up on the desk of the chiropractors, of the doctors, of the acupuncturists. And then some of the doctors and the chiropractors would also keep some in their examination room. Yeah. So again,
Yeah, Chris, I love that. Thank you. Oh, sorry. Didn't mean to cut you off.
okay. No,
Thank
you're
you.
good.
Yeah, I wasn't sure if it was too complicated of a question, but she asked for she asked me, which was really cool. So I'll send her that stand-up little poster, but she asked me for like a little package or something as a
Mhm.
bonus that her clients could get when they sign on, if we'd be willing to do something like that.
Great. Yeah. Like a little bonus that you're giving her or that the clients are getting.
All of her clients that sign on, because she's really struggling with kind of what you were saying with doctors, actually. They're not following through. It's the
Yeah.
compliance. And so she wants somebody to really come in and guide them through if they need some deeper work with the mindset. So
Mhm.
I was torn between offering something like you said, like that 6-week,
Mhm.
and giving that to her, or offering a call, since she said, what could you give that would be like a bonus for anybody that signs on?
Mhm. Yeah, so I would do I would do both actually. I would say I would invite the people to work with you in a 6-week program for sure. And as a bonus, when they sign on for the 6-week program or one-on-one support, you would give them a fast action strategy session.
Okay.
That's what I would do. Right? Because it's more than just, this is Morgan, go talk to her, right? We really do want them to have a resource. We want them to have a program or an offer or a resource that people can go through with you. It doesn't have to be group, but something that they can go through with you.
Okay. Yeah, that sounds good.
Mhm.
Thank you.
You're welcome. All right, my friends, I hope you have an amazing evening. I'm going to pop off as soon as Zoom finishes doing its Zoom thing. We will pop it in the email for you guys. So if you want to watch the replay, you are welcome to. And I am available. If you guys have any questions at all about collaborating, any questions about reaching out to doctors, any questions about the Launchwell program, I am here for you. So please go ahead and reach out. We can book a quick chat to see if this or something else is the best fit for you. And I hope you have a great night. Thanks for being here. You're welcome.